when you take together what the allies are doing collectively, the impact on the Russian economy will be very significant. You saw what happened to the currency today and to the stock market. And essentially, we have to choke off the supply of finance that funds the war machine of Russia. And I think the collective action of the EU, the US, the UK, Canada, Japan, working together is, defending democracy and using every sanction possible so that we will have an impact, and a serious impact, on the Russian economy.
Now, in terms of choking off the finance to Russia, that's one thing. But there's also European countries worried about their own finances and the rules that the Commission puts in place, the fiscal rules, and whether they can help their people through what might be a very difficult period with rising energy prices if you don't relax those rules. Is that about to happen, do you think?
Look, we're in uncharted waters here. So, first of all, we do the sanctions and we work with our allies. That's really important. Of course, there are consequences for the Western world. You've already analysed that on the programme, energy in particular. And I think the member states around the table know that there are consequences, but they are prepared to deal with those consequences. There will be a discussion as to how we do it, but we're not there yet in terms of the Growth and Stability Pact. That is on the table anyway, in general, post-COVID. But clearly, what has happened today in Ukraine, where there's a war in Europe, will put a different emphasis on the measures we take to actually tackle what has been a disaster for the people of Ukraine, who are dying today, being attacked by Russia, and it has wider implications. So we have to defend democracy, we have to provide humanitarian aid for the people of Ukraine, we have to look after refugees, and we have to think of how we deal with the economic consequences. But today isn't about how it will impact us. Today is about what do we do to show solidarity with an independent country that is under attack.
Thank you, Mairead McGuinness. Let's bring in David Miliband. You heard what Mairead McGuinness had to say there about trying to choke off the finances in Russia. Do you think what's been announced today by the EU, by the UK and US as well, is going to be sufficient? Is it the big bazooka required to change President Putin's thinking?
Well, it's not a big bazooka in hard power terms. It's intended, I think, to play a longer-term game. And the truth is, President Putin has been planning this for at least the last 8 years since the invasion of Crimea, and probably for longer. It's a fundamental attempt to rewrite the rules of the post-Cold War international order, and specifically the European order. And I don't think that a few months of planning is going to produce the kind of quote-unquote bazooka that you've referred to. I think we have to prepare for a much longer campaign in which defensive measures are going to be necessary, potentially military defensive measures for countries in the Baltics, defensive measures in respect of the getting off Russian dependence on Russian oil and gas, which is a significant part of Europe's dependence at the moment, but also an understanding that there is a bigger global picture here. And watching the comments in the UN Security Council, it's very, very striking to see African countries like Kenya responding very strongly, countries like India not. So I think there's a global picture as well as a European picture. No one should expect a quick, short, sharp answer to this. I'm afraid it's going to be a very long-term effort.